Hi, I'm Elaine Harding. Welcome to my blog.stampwithelaine.com. For today's project, I've got an inverted diamond fold card. I've been doing these fancy folds for years and years and revisited many a time. So I'm shining a light today on this stamp set called Shine Bright. And it has a set of coordinating dies called Stitched Brightly. And it will give you these cutouts with peekaboo patterns, which is really pretty. If you purchase both the stamp set and the dies together, it will save you 10%. To make this card, I'm going to be using this star one, and I've drawn a marker here to show me where the end of the stamp is. I've seen other people actually die cut or use a steel cutter and cut through that section there so that you only need to stamp one star, but I didn't want to destroy the die, so there's ways round it and I'll show you how. The other dies I'm using are the nested stitched label dies, and we're going to be using the largest and the next to largest ones. The card base is 5 7/8 inches by 10.5 in metric. That's 14.9 by 26.7 centimeters. You need some Wisp White scrap to die cut the largest nested labels for the back of the card, and 2 pieces of Whisper White, both cut at 1.5 inches by 5.5 inches. That's 3.8 by 14 centimeters for these 2 side panels here. You also need some sparkle glimmer paper. I cut the frame for both these sides here and the center. Night of Navy and Seaside Spray ink, 1.5 inch circle punch. We're also going to be using the 6x6 Feels Like Frost Designer Series paper. These have got wintry scenes on one side, and then on the reverse it's all silver foiled. There are 12 double-sided designs and 4 each in a pack, and the one we're going to be using is this one. To get a continuation of the scene, I'm using the largest stitched nested label dies, and I'm going to cut this one first. So I'm going to put it on its side, and I want the entire scene from down here, so I'm going to put the point right on the edge and marry that up and stick it down with washi tape so that it doesn't move. Then I'm going to do the reverse on here to get the opposite side, and once I've done that, then what's left of the paper I'll cut from the center. So I'll go and do that off camera and I'll be back. So that's how I've cut it. So I've cut one side, then the other side, and with what was left over I cut a full one. So that's our pieces die cut for the card. Now we need to trace the largest die, the outline of the largest die. I'm going to put that on the edge because I know that's true to size, and that will definitely be a straight edge. So I shall draw a line there. So I've traced 2 large ones like this, and I'm just going to cut one of these in half from point to point on the guillotine. Then I'm going to just trace round pattern. Save these scraps for another time. Then with the largest one, you need to die cut with the smaller nested stitch label the centre out of that. To speed things up, I've already die cut 2 extra Whisper White largest nested stitched label and one with the next to largest one. Bring in my trimmer, and now we go back to the basic cardstock and the scoring part of it. So the long side you score 1 3/4 inches. Next score is 3 1/2 inches. You make a mark at the 5 1/4 inch at the top and also at the bottom. You score all the way down at 7 inches and at 8 3/4 inches. Bring in my template. Now you've got to make a measure 1 inch down from the top edge and from the bottom edge on the 3 1/2 inch and 7 inch score line. Okay, so I'm going to take my pencil, and this is the beauty of this trimmer, so I can go along to the score line here, the 3 1/2 inch score line, which is the next one along, and make a mark there at 1 inches. Turn it around, make a mark 1 inch, and also at this point here and at this point here. Bring in my scoreboard, and I line up the score line here on my 6 inch score line on my scoring board, because it's easier to see there. I've put white chalk marker on it. So then I place my stylus in the groove, okay, swivel it, and then I score to that up to 1 3/4 inch score line. Okay, place my stylus in that same groove and swivel it and I repeat for all the other score lines. So line up the score line at the 6 inch mark, place my stylus where it's marked at the 1 inch down from the top, and then score upwards. Do the same for the other side. Now you need to tease those lines like that. Put your fingernail in there and fold it inwards. Use the bone folder to reinforce the lines. Now bring in my magnetic platform, and I'm going to place this on my platform like so, using the points here to line up with the point on the diamond shape. Okay, and actually I'll move it up this way, and you see that line there? I just place my top cutting plate right on the line there, so it doesn't extend beyond it. So the bit I want die cut will have 2 thicknesses of plate, so there will be the base plate, the cardstock, die cutting edge face down, then the top cutting plate, and there's nothing on the other side. Okay, so then I'm ready to run it through the Big Shot. So I'll do that and I'll be back. I'll also need to do it for these two pieces here, and it will be the same process. So now my pieces have been die cut. We're ready to assemble them. So first we'll adhere the frame inside the card. Rub out the pencil marks. Remember the smaller nested label. I'm just going to pop that in here. And that's just so that when I glue the designer series paper on, it won't have a dip. I forgot to press record. What I did was I popped the smaller stitch nested labels inside, and then laid this on top and used a pencil to mark the position of the holes. So I knew where to use the 1.5 inch circle punch to punch out an aperture inside the Whisper White piece, so that I could then punch out a one in glimmer, because I wanted the glimmer to show through, so that I could fit that into the nested stitch label dies. Then I put double-sided tape on the back of this as an extra measure to make sure that it will all stick down. I've removed all the backing tape, so now I can stick it down to my card base. Make sure it all lines up, and that's how you adhere paper to glimmer paper. So now we are ready to glue this bit down. I've applied adhesive to the back of that, so now I can glue that onto the front. I'm just going to use Night of Navy to stamp a sentiment in here in Night of Navy ink, and then with the large frame I'm going to stamp with Seaside Spray. This is a rather large star, so I'm just only going to use a part of it. Seaside Spray to stamp the sentiment. I'll glue that to the back of the card so that there's somewhere to sign it. Now, originally I had thought to put these panels here so that you could write on there, but if you want to display the card, it won't look very nice with greetings and writing on the front, so I added that piece at the back. So there's the card finish. Hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial, and pop back for more inspiration next time. All the links to the supplies you'll need are below this video in the Show More section. You can also find me on Pinterest, Instagram, or on my blog. Thanks for watching. Bye!